What up? It's your boy Nick Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again. And this is 911 Lone Star Season 3, Episode 7, Red versus Blue. It's the age-old tale, firefighters versus cop. I fought the law, and the law won. Let's talk about this episode, man.
Yo, fight until you make it, yo, don't think it, no, just take it. Don't wait for someone to break it, take control, then don't just take it. Hey, you can make it happen, you just gotta take some action. Take the ship and be the captain.
This episode was nice. I had a smile on my face the entire time with this episode. It was that age-old tale, like I said, cop versus firefighter, firefighter versus cop. It was a great episode, man. We got to see fun throughout the entire episode. You know, like there were some moments that were hilarious, but like we got to see fun course through the entire episode. The parts where we see that Owen rips the ticket, you know, then Marjan and everybody else get the fire truck towed. The fire truck gets keyed. We see Captain Vega and Owen bring in Pierce again. Like the whole entire episode was fun. The only thing I didn't like about this episode was the ending. But before I talk about the ending, let's just break it down a little bit from the stuff that happened throughout the entire episode. We see that Owen has a problem with this cop because this cop has problems with firefighters. He thinks firefighters are lazy, that they sleep all day and then they come in, they get all the praise and everything. He doesn't really like firefighters. And he happens to be played by Neil McDonough, however you want to say his name. But anyway, great actor. I love the dude. I love seeing him act, man. He's a great actor. But he was a little bit of a douche this episode, and Owen kind of put him in his place a little bit. I like to see the little rivalry going back and forth, but at the end of the episode, we see that they kind of make up and everything. So that's what I mean. It was just such a great episode. You get all this conflict and everything in the beginning. It wasn't, hurtful or anything. It was a bunch of conflict, but it wasn't hurtful or harmful. But at the end of the episode, it gets resolved in a nice, meaningful way. But throughout this entire episode, we deal with that aspect, but we also see Grace dealing with a little bit of competition at work because this dude Dave that normally works the night shift and has her desk is working on the day shift, and this is Grace's desk, so they kind of conflict with each other. And he ate her potato salad, so Grace isn't really feeling this dude. But I love the fact that Grace isn't the only one at the 911 call center anymore that really cares deeply for these calls and interacts with these people and ends up actually saving these people. We have someone else that we can rely on for that, and Judd kind of mentioned that fact, that the 911 call center can now operate without Grace being there to try to save it all the time. And it's nice to see that I'm not knocking the other people, but like they don't really get that shine or that highlight that Grace does when it comes to the 911 call center. And we can see that with Dave, so I feel like now we're going to see where at the call center, the calls are kind of get broken up a little bit between Dave and Grace, and we're going to get some stories for those characters in particular, kind of like with regular 911, with Maddie and then May and then everybody else. Like there's a lot more people in the original series that kind of break up and get the calls, but in this one we only had Grace that we could kind of relate to. So now we're dealing with Grace and Dave, and I'm interested to see how that's going to take place as we go further in the season and the couple seasons after. And now at the end of the episode, after he has a heart attack trying to save someone from a call, we see that he's going to be on the day shift from now on. So now he's being bumped up to maybe a guest star every episode, and then maybe being bumped up to a series regular. I haven't seen anything about it. I'll have to look it up and see if he's going to be bumped up to a regular or just a reoccurring guest. But I love the fact that he really cares deeply because he made up this story about his father just to save this father that was going to, kill himself and didn't want his kids to find his body. So that was really, really nice, but he had a heart attack in the process. I mean, it was intense, but it was nice that he went that extra effort to try to save this guy, man. And Grace's call in particular, where the kid's father didn't recognize him because he was in a car crash, Dave was very instrumental in actually helping Grace solve that case and help that kid in the long run. So he might be actually vital, and we can see that how he's interacting with Grace is gonna cause a little confusion, but it's gonna be nice conflict between the both of them and some banter, I'd imagine. Like I said, the parts where we were dealing with Owen and the I want to say what O'Brien, Captain no Sergeant O'Brien, was very nice. And then we get to see them play a softball game. It was fantastic. I really love to see them play the softball game. Owen and them got their butt beat in the beginning. They came back, but in the beginning they were getting mollywopped, man. But then they brought in Pierce to be the ringer, and I love the fact that Pierce came through to help them in the situation, because Pierce just stepped straight up to the plate and hit the joke out like it was nothing. But I don't like Pierce. I don't like Pierce, so I'm glad that like they brought him in for that moment and then they got rid of him yet again. Pierce is just an annoying character. Like, he's fun, but he's one of those characters that, like, if you could see him every so often, that's what you like about him. You know, like seeing him on a weekly basis is something that you do not need from Pierce. And then, you know, he made this whole spectacle about getting this, and this. You know, dude, just bye. Okay, so like if he's gonna leave, let's keep Pierce going for a little while and maybe make him reappear again, maybe sometime down the line next season. So small quantities of Pierce is enough. But at the end of the day, we see that a fire broke out and the cops all kind of got buzzed a little bit from the marijuana, and we see that O'Brien is still trapped inside the fire. Owen goes in and saves him, and the news people happened to record it, but it was a nice way to resolve the conflict. They hugged it out and everything, because we see that like at the end of the game, the police tried to cheat and they tripped Nancy, and then the whole fight broke out, and then they played I Fought the Law, and the law won, and it was nice. It was cool. It was fun. But at the end of the day, they resolved their conflict. They resolved their conflict, and Sergeant O'Brien came over to the firehouse and admitted, you know, his defaults with everything, and he apologized to Owen, and Owen apologized to him, and they sat down and had dinner. And then we're going to talk about the end of this episode. The whole crew revolved around setting up a surprise for Nancy, you know, because, you know, she was called the Big Whiff, and they gave her an MVP trophy. And in the middle of that, TK gets a call, and we find out that his mom died. Come on, man. On this highlight, on this roller coaster of greatness and fun that we had with this episode, then we find out that his mom dies. Come on, man. 911 Lone Star. Y'all are doing too much, man. I love you. I really, really do. But you are doing way too much, man. My heart can't take all this. And then I watched the preview. Owen and TK are on the plane, and the plane blows up. What is going on? To be fair, I don't see TK being hurt. I just don't. TK has been in all kind of problems and situations to where he just walked out. Like, whoo, that was dangerous. You know, I've been shot. I almost died of hypothermia. He got trapped in the stuff, like the earthquake stuff too. He was trapped, wasn't he? So it's like, there's been a lot of stuff where TK just walked out unscathed from. So, you know, I don't see him being in any kind of complications with this whole engine trouble for the plane. But I feel like him and Owen being on the plane will definitely end up saving some people. So we'll have to watch next week to find out and wait. But I am all kinds of excited because I want to see how that plays out. But I'm not excited because now we got to deal with the fact that TK's mother died, man. Come on, 911. This is your boy, Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.